She left me with one unread message. There are some messages you can delete. There are some messages you can ignore. And then there are the messages you spend the rest of your life wishing you had opened. For Daniel Parker, there was only one. It had been sitting on his phone for years, unread. Not because he didn't care, but because he had been too late. Daniel first met Olivia Bennett on an ordinary Tuesday morning in Boston, Massachusetts. He was 29 and worked as a graphic designer at a small advertising company. Olivia was 27 and worked at a children's bookstore near Beacon Hill. They met because Daniel was running through the rain. He was late for work, holding a broken umbrella over his head when he accidentally bumped into Olivia outside the bookstore. Her coffee spilled all over his shirt. Daniel looked down. Olivia looked at him. Then she started laughing. "I'm sorry," she said between laughs. "You're laughing? You should see your face." Daniel looked at his shirt. "I just paid $30 for this. And now it smells like coffee. Thank you for making me feel better." She smiled. "You're welcome." Daniel couldn't help smiling too. He didn't know her name. He didn't know where she lived. He didn't even know if he would ever see her again. Then Olivia pointed at the bookstore behind her. "If you're going to keep standing in the rain, at least come inside." Daniel followed her. That was the beginning. He went into the bookstore to escape the rain, but he stayed for 2 hours talking to Olivia. They talked about books, movies, music, travel, their favorite places in Boston. Olivia loved old romantic novels. Daniel pretended he didn't. She caught him reading one a few days later. "You're reading it." "I was curious." "You like it." "No." "You're smiling." "I'm not." "You are." Daniel laughed. "Fine. Maybe I like it." Olivia smiled. "I knew it." After that, Daniel started visiting the bookstore almost every day. Sometimes he bought books. Sometimes he didn't. Olivia knew exactly why he kept coming, and she secretly looked forward to seeing him too. One evening, Daniel finally asked her out. "Would you like to have dinner with me?" Olivia pretended to think. "I don't know." Daniel looked nervous. "Why?" "You ruined my coffee. I bought you another one." "True. I also helped you carry those boxes." "True. And I haven't complained about your terrible taste in books." Olivia laughed. Okay. I'll go to dinner with you." Daniel smiled. "Friday?" "Friday." Their first date was simple. A small Italian restaurant in Boston. Nothing fancy. But they talked for nearly 4 hours. When they finally walked outside, it was snowing. Olivia looked up at the sky. "I love Boston in the winter." Daniel looked at her. "I think I just found another reason to." She smiled. "Was that supposed to be romantic?" "I'm still learning." "You're doing okay." He took her hand. And from that night on, they became inseparable. Their relationship wasn't perfect. They argued. They got annoyed with each other. Sometimes Olivia would stop talking when she was angry. Daniel would apologize even when he wasn't completely sure what he had done. But they always found their way back to each other. They built their own little world. Sunday morning breakfasts, late night walks, movies under warm blankets, road trips to Cape Cod, coffee at the same little cafe. Olivia loved taking pictures of Daniel when he wasn't paying attention. Daniel loved pretending he hated it. One afternoon, she showed him a picture she had taken. It was a photograph of him laughing. Daniel stared at it. "Why do you like this one?" "Because you're not trying to look happy." "What does that mean?" "You're just happy." Daniel looked at her. "I am." "Why?" He smiled. "Because you're here." Olivia leaned against him. "I hope you always feel that way." "I will." They started talking about marriage. Not seriously at first, then seriously. Olivia wanted a small wedding. Daniel wanted a house with a backyard. She wanted a golden retriever. He wanted 2 dogs. She wanted to travel before having children. He wanted to travel forever. One night, they sat on the floor of Daniel's apartment surrounded by furniture catalogs. Olivia pointed at a picture. "This one." Daniel looked at it. "You want that house?" "Yes. It's expensive." So we'd have to save." "We can." Daniel smiled. "Then we'll save." Olivia rested her head on his shoulder. "Promise?" "Promise." They didn't know how long forever would be. They just knew they wanted it together. A year later, Daniel finally bought the ring. He kept it hidden in his desk drawer. He had planned everything. A weekend trip to Cape Cod, a dinner near the ocean, a walk on the beach. Then he would ask her, but life rarely follows the plans we make. The week before the trip, Olivia received a phone call from her mother. Her mother was sick and needed help in Vermont. Olivia immediately packed a bag. Daniel wanted to go with her, but Olivia told him, "You have work. I can take time off. You've been working so hard. Olivia, you're more important." She smiled. I'll only be gone for a few days. Daniel hugged her. Call me when you get there. I will. And don't drive too fast. She laughed. You sound like my father. Your father is probably smarter than me. Definitely. They kissed. Then Olivia left. That evening, she called Daniel. They talked for almost an hour. She told him about her mother. He told her about his day. Before hanging up, Olivia said, I miss you already. Daniel smiled. I miss you too. I wish you were here. I'll be there tomorrow. You don't have to. I want to. There was a pause. Then Olivia quietly said, Daniel? Yeah? I love you. He smiled. I love you too. The next morning, Daniel woke up early. He packed a bag. He put the ring in his jacket pocket. He was going to surprise her. Before leaving, he checked his phone. There was one message from Olivia. It had arrived at 2:17 a.m. Daniel was half asleep when he saw the notification. He thought he would read it later. He was already running late, so he put his phone in his pocket and drove toward Vermont. The road was long. Rain covered the windshield. Daniel stopped at a gas station halfway there. He checked his phone. There was another message from Olivia. Please call me when you wake up. He smiled. He called. No answer. He tried again. Nothing. He figured she was asleep, so he continued driving. A few hours later, he arrived. But Olivia wasn't at her mother's house. Her mother was sitting alone on the porch. The moment she saw Daniel, her face changed. Daniel. He immediately knew something was wrong. Where's Olivia? Her mother began crying. She left early this morning. Where? She said she needed to get something. Daniel's heart started beating faster. Did she say where? Her mother shook her head. Then Daniel's phone rang. It was the hospital. There had been an accident. A car accident on a wet highway. Olivia had been taken to the hospital. Daniel drove there as fast as he could. He ran through the doors. He asked for her. A nurse led him down the hallway. Daniel was still holding the ring in his pocket. He kept thinking about the message he hadn't opened. Maybe it was something important. Maybe she had been scared. Maybe she had needed him. When he finally reached her room, everything became quiet. Olivia was unconscious. Daniel sat beside her. He held her hand. I'm here. His voice broke. I came. The doctors had done everything they could. But Olivia never woke up. Daniel stayed beside her until the very end. He told her everything he had wanted to say. He told her about the house, the dogs, the wedding, the trip they never took, and the ring he had brought with him. He placed it gently beside her hand. I was going to ask you today. He started crying. You would have said yes, right? For a long time, there was only silence. Then Daniel whispered, I know you would have. Months passed. Daniel returned to Boston. But everything felt different. The bookstore was still there. The coffee shop was still there. Their favorite restaurant was still there. But Olivia wasn't. Daniel couldn't bring himself to delete her number. He couldn't delete their pictures. He couldn't stop visiting the places where they had been happy. One rainy evening, he sat alone in his apartment. He finally opened his old phone. There was still one unread message, Olivia's last message, the one she had sent at 2:17 a.m. Daniel stared at it for several minutes. Then he finally opened it. It was short, only a few lines. Daniel, I know you're probably sleeping. I just wanted to tell you something. I've been thinking about our future tonight. I don't need the perfect house. I don't need a perfect wedding. I don't even need the perfect life. I just want an ordinary life with you. So when you wake up, call me. I love you. Daniel read it again, then again. He pressed the phone against his chest and cried. Not because he didn't know she loved him. He knew. But because she had written exactly what he had been too afraid to say. Years later, Daniel still had that message. He eventually bought the little house they had dreamed about. It had a small backyard, a porch, and enough room for 2 dogs. He planted flowers in the garden because Olivia had always wanted flowers. He kept her books on a shelf in the living room, and every Sunday morning he made coffee for 2, 1 cup for himself, and 1 for the woman who would never come through the door again. Daniel eventually started volunteering at Olivia's favorite children's bookstore. He wanted other people to discover the same stories she had loved, and on the wall behind the counter, he placed a small photograph of her. She was smiling. The same smile she had given him the first day they met. Under the photograph, there was a simple sentence. Some people leave your life, but they never leave your heart. Daniel never stopped loving Olivia. But he learned to live with the love instead of running from the pain. Because Olivia had taught him something he would never forget. Life isn't measured by how long someone stays. It's measured by what they leave behind. And Olivia left behind laughter, memories, dreams, 1,000 little moments. and one unread message that Daniel would carry with him forever. Sometimes he still wondered what would have happened if he had opened it sooner. But eventually, he stopped asking, because he knew the truth. He had loved her, she had loved him, and for a while, they had been exactly where they were supposed to be, together, and maybe that was enough. Not enough to make the goodbye hurt less, but enough to make the love worth remembering.